Hey Ottawa, this is your Monday Market Snapshot for the Ottawa Real Estate Market for Monday, September 18th, 2023. My name is Annalee Rice. I'm a realtor here in Ottawa, Ontario, and every week I bring you the stats and the info of what's going on in the Ottawa real estate market. Let's go. Okay, so if we look citywide, we see that the news of this week is that we actually see a huge jump in both the number of active listings and the number of sales across the city. For active listings, the biggest jump was in the detached home market and towns. The condos wasn't a huge jump, but a slight increase there. For sold properties, again, it was across property types, recovering from the dips following the long weekend and the start of the school year. And again, lots of sales in detached and towns. Condos did recover as well. If we look at it in chart form, we can see the huge rise the last 2 weeks in the number of active listings, and so that's the green line. And you can see that, again, there was a climb in the number of conditionally sold properties this week. And the sold properties, that's the red line, recuperated back up to basically the level of the conditional sales. So I would expect that next week we're going to again see increased sales based on the number of conditional sales we had this week. When we break down what are the new listings, we had 482 properties listed this week. That's again a significant increase. It represents the fourth highest number of listings, listed properties in 1 week that we've had all year. However, if you do break it down into the number of new listed properties, that's the blue line, versus the number of relisted properties, that is the gray line, then you'll see that our number of relisted properties is higher this week as compared to other weeks. Of the properties that were listed, 73% of them, which is 354, were new to the market. That's still a high number. And there was 27%, or 128, were relisted properties. I do believe a lot of people held off on listing in the last couple weeks of August, or if there were properties that were expiring at the end of the summer, now they have chosen to relist in these first couple weeks in September. So 24% of the homes that sold this week sold without a conditional period. That's a bit of a jump from what we saw the last couple weeks. Not a huge jump, but a little bit. And of the homes that sold this week, there were 21% were on the market for 7 days or less. And that is quite a huge jump. Last week we were at 11%. 51% of the homes that sold within 7 days sold without any conditions. That's a typical, but maybe a little bit lower than what we were seeing in the spring market. And 56% of the homes sold within 30 days or less. We are seeing that percentage starting to drop as we see there's more inventory, more homes on the market, buyers have more choice, and the number of homes that are selling quickly is dropping. So next we can move in and look at more detail in the different regions of the city. In the central urban region, we see that there was a fair jump in both condos and detached homes on the market, and sales were actually down for detached homes in the central urban area. Condos, the bulk of the condos across the city are in the central urban region, so the majority of the increase of sales for condos was in that area. In Canada and Stittsville, we see a fair jump in detached and towns and a slight drop in the condos marketed this week. Sales increased slightly for detached and towns and were down slightly for condos. In Barrhaven and Riverside South, it was actually a drop of 10 for the number of active listings in Barrhaven, and increase for townhomes, slight drop for condos. We'll see it in the chart form. You can see why there was a drop in the number of active listings, but you can see that the sales were higher this week. But when you get to the chart form, you can see that the number of conditionally sold properties, detached properties in Barrhaven, Riverside South took a huge jump. And sales were up slightly for condos and townhomes in Barrhaven, Riverside South. And in Orleans, we see that there's an increase for both detached and towns and a decrease in the number of active listings for condos. Sales were also up for detached and towns, and steady but fairly good number of sales for condos in Orleans this week. When we look at the chart form, we can see the full data here. And as I mentioned earlier on the other slide, Barrhaven Riverside South had 18 conditionally sold properties for detached homes. So that explains why there was a drop in the number of active listings, pretty good sales, and lots of conditionally sold properties. Here we've got the townhomes. I think the thing I notice here mostly is that the days on market is definitely climbing for townhomes. Throughout most of the summer and late spring, we saw the townhome market getting quite brisk. Homes were selling quite quickly, and there wasn't a whole lot of inventory. The inventory is climbing here, and we are seeing longer times on market. And for condos, it's mostly in the central urban region, and we can see that the sales are fairly steady for condos. Okay, so that's it for the stats for this week. If you have any questions or any comments, please get in touch. My details are there. And please subscribe if you'd like to be notified when I release these weekly updates. I hope you have a fantastic week.